It says it.
Oh, right, okay. I just want to know. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to the Inside Out Effect podcast. As always, the self-proclaimed #1 global personal development podcast on the planet, bar none, on a 7 o'clock. On a 7 o'clock?
On a 7 o'clock?
On a 7 o'clock at a Sunday night.
I'm not sitting on a 7 o'clock, I'm sitting on a stool.
I know. I'm your host, Stephen Jakes, and I'm the co-founder of the Inside Out Effect with this young gentleman to my right, and also the owner and of healingthemind.co.uk. And this is episode 52, and today we will be discussing the topic of back pain. Now, we've all had back pain, we've all suffered with it, me in particular, and there's many myths around it, and obviously I've had loads of stuff go with my back since in my early 20s, never ever really got better, and ended up having surgery amongst lots of other things. And so today we're going to discuss the real causes of back pains, the myths around it, why some of the treatments don't work, and why it's so hard to heal. And which you're going to do. That's something that Jonathan's been working on for years and years, and he's obviously genius when it comes to physical pain, as I always bang on about. So anyway, so before we start the podcast, I would like to introduce my co-host, the creator of the DTO system, the co-founder of the Inside Out Effect, like I said, with myself, and the author of the book Decoding Pain, the Emotional Blueprint to Healing Chronic Pain, as well as the DTO Handbook. I have my good friend, I have the wonderful and the lovely, the cuddly and the huge, the gorgeous and the lovely Jonathan Shaw. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well. I'm good.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yes.
Are you good? Are you recharged after your little gallivanting escapade up north?
Yes, I feel very recharged and relaxed. It was
great.
nice up there. It was very refreshing. There's just fields everywhere where we stay, so it was just peaceful and quiet, no one around us, so it was nice and relaxing. Lovely. Yeah,
great. Yeah, so I just wanted to clear something up. A quick question that I know all the viewers are probably eager to find out right now, that is, have you been super busy?
I have been super busy.
Well,
actually,
yes. Great, yes. So,
since I've been back, I've been super busy, and before I went away, I was super busy.
Yeah.
So I was super busy up there as well, but just not doing work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
Super busy gallivanting, going off doing.
Yeah, you've done some nice stuff with your mum.
Yeah. Went to a nice place called Salzburn, which I've not been to before.
Salzburn, that's in Austria, isn't it?
No, Salzburn.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Which was a nice little seaside village, which was lovely. Yeah. Enjoyed that, and it was really nice weather for us as well. Really lovely weather. I heard it wasn't so great down here.
I haven't seen. I've been so busy working. I haven't hardly seen the outside at all the last week and a half.
So you've been super busy as well.
Honestly, I'll come to me in a minute, but yeah, I have been actually really super busy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So that was nice and relaxing, and we enjoyed that. And now I'm back to get kicking until Christmas. So
right. Excellent. Good. So well, obviously you've had a break really, so there's not really anything you want to talk about. It's been a month.
No, it's been a month. I've had a few clients, obviously, before I went away. So yes, I know there's been a few. So I sold a lady's.
You sold a lady?
I sold a lady. I did. I sold her on the black market.
Should have told me. I've got a few quid floating around.
Have you?
I need a lady at the moment. Absolutely.
I didn't know you were buying. I thought you were.
Right now, I'll settle for anything.
You'll settle for anything. Right? Okay. Yeah. I sold a lady and I made quite a bit of profit. So that was good. Obviously, if I'd had a pair, I'd have made a lot more, but I didn't. So, but anyway, no.
Pair of ladies.
Yeah. If I had a pair of ladies, I could have made much more money.
You could have
sisters,
done,
it'd been much more money, wouldn't it?
Or twins, even.
Or twins, exactly.
I would have definitely been in.
You've definitely been twins. There you go.
I'd have taken a loan out.
We say a loan out. You'd have had to if I had twins to say. Oh, it cost a fortune.
I know.
So she's happy in a new home. Just in case anyone out there is wondering if she was sold unwillingly, she wasn't. She was a willingly sold lady that I put out on the internet, although that page has now been taken down.
Yes, it has, yeah. You sold the ladies.
Yeah. No, I sold a lady. So she had fibroids or a cyst growing on her ovaries.
Yeah.
So I was able to solve that for her, and she actually bled them out and been back to the doctor, and one of them was completely gone, and the other one I reduced right down, very, very
Excellent.
small.
I think I know that lady.
And so that was really good.
Yes.
And so she's happy with that because she's out of pain now, so that's good. Helping other people, some people with back pain, so that's crept up again, which is why we're doing back pain today.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really done a lot of back pain for a while. Obviously, I used to do loads of back pain, sciatica and things like that. And also that's sort of creeping back up again. People come back to back pain. And it's one of the things I used to treat a lot of, because back pain is one of the biggest causes of pain in the world, really. It's the thing. I believe it's the most the pain that people have the most time off work with.
Yep.
I bet it's the most common reason for people having time off work, or at least it was statistically a few years ago. I haven't looked up the statistic lately, but it was a very common reason. So, and usually back pain is very simple to solve. Well, I've been working relationship issues and been dealing with those. And lots of other different things like that, really. Anxieties and different things. Been working with a guy who had health anxiety, and that's reduced right down for him now, so he's feeling better about that.
Yep.
And that actually just came down to mainly a fear of death, which is what was kept triggering all the time.
Yeah. It's funny, I've got someone that's got the same trigger.
Have you?
It's this fear of death, and that's health anxiety. It's that fear of death.
Yeah, there's fear of death. And that's lots of different people, really, lots of different clients.
Good. So I just want to say a few people have said hello on my feed. So I want to say hello to Amanda. It's really good to have you back. You pop in and watch us from time to time, so it's good for you to join us.
Hi,
I want to say hello to Jules. Hello, Jules. Good to hear this. We are back. It's been a month. Hello to Bob. And hello to Rebecca as well. So, and we've also got Jane Haycock, who also always is always here and always shares my posts. So thank you for that, Jane. And you're a star, really. And John speaks very highly of you. And so just there's the big shouts going out to the people that have taken the time to mention us and say hello. Cool. So we're going to be doing the usual. Hoo-ha tonight. The usual hoo-ha. Yes. And obviously, I don't know if you watched on the last episode, Jonathan failed to win the state-of-the-art Healing the Mind pen, accompanied with the Healing the Mind a keyring. Obviously worth an absolute fortune.
Clearly.
Rare as rocking horse dung, as they say. But this week, we're going to give them a second opportunity to actually win this prize, glorious Healing the Mind pen and keyring. Healing the Mind, blankety blank, keyring and pen. So we're going to be doing that at the end. So we got another, you can get your pens, join in. It's a little multiple choice quiz, true and false quiz of some knowledge that I know. And we're going to test Jonathan to see if he actually can actually win that pen. So that's going to be interesting. So that's at the very, very end. We're going to be saving doing that. We are also going to do the stupidest thing that we've heard this week, but also as well, we're going to do something a little bit different before we talk about the back pain tonight. It's I don't really generally watch the news. I don't watch the TV because it's all basically mind control and it's installing beliefs of not your reality. So I've been putting a few provocative Facebook posts out there just to get you to think and understand that actually that what you don't experience, what you experience is real life. What you see on your TV and in your newspapers, it's all belief systems. And unless you've actually experienced it, it's not real. And this is what causes most mental health problems with people. Yes. Especially when it comes to fear, paranoia, delusions, all that stuff, anxiety and all the rest of it, because actually you're getting anxious about things that you haven't actually experienced. So, but we're talking about the whole dreaded C19 stuff, and I follow a lot of people on the internet who are involved in the movement of exposing what actually is. So we're going to cover. We're going to just play a little bit of a podcast that I listened to recently. That's really, really just opens up the whole thing, and hopefully it'll educate you too as well. So we're going to do that, but before we do that, maybe you want to ask me how I've been and what I've been up to.
No, not really.
Okay, so moving on.
How have you been?
I've been busy.
You've been busy?
I've been super busy, actually.
Super busy,
yeah, absolutely. So I have actually. So since we've done the relationship podcast, I have my phone, and when I say my phone, but my website, and if it's just, I've just been really busy. I'm just every day, mainly dealing with relationship issues. Yeah. So obviously people have come to watch that, heard about it, watched it, reached out to me, and I've been able to solve all of that stuff. Mainly abusive relationships. Right. So people that are suffering now because of an abusive relationship in the past. Yes. Because we know that abusive relationships cause a whole host of stuff, especially if people are being abused, shouted at, not listened to, violent and all the rest of it. And then they can't hold that and carry that on with them through the rest of their life, which causes a whole host of problems. Yep. Because, they can't move forward. They're scared of getting in a relationship. They have all these beliefs about themselves, which they've made up. We made up shit and believe the shit we make up. But to them, it's real, even though it's not. And so I've been able to go into all of those people, get rid of all of the PTSD elements, get rid of all of their guilts and shames about, how they thinking that they're responsible for the relationship breakdown and all the rest of it, but actually it's not. A lot of gaslighting, and so I've been really successful with that, and I've had 3 amazing testimonials put on my Facebook page over the last week, with people that I've been working with. So that really touches my heart when it happens, because you really know that you've made a massive difference and changed that person's life. And so I'm grateful for those guys for writing that. But I've been doing a lot about on the relationship stuff. I've actually been doing some physical pain stuff as well. Funny enough, it was actually ovaries and stuff, which we know that anything to do with that is a profound loss conflict. So instantly, as soon as I said to her, because she got recommended by a friend that we both know actually, and she said, go and see Steve. She turned up, met for the first time, lovely lady, really cute, lovely lady, really quite, reserved and well-spoken. And I said to her that what she was experiencing, I said, well, that generally it's about a profound loss conflict. She goes, oh, that would make sense, because I lost my dad and my sister sort of like basically disowned me. Right. So I was like, okay. And that happened literally at that time. So as I was clearing all of the beliefs, the guilt, the shames, the responses, and all the stuff that she made up about at the time, as soon as I got rid of that, the pains were shifting all the way around and then just completely disappeared. Brilliant. So that was really great. I mean, that was really, really good. So, I've just had a flood of people, and just usual my normal regular clients, getting rid of all of their stuff from the past, and like your normal anxieties, depressions, PTSDs. We've got a bit of PTSD recently, actually, because people have been reaching out to me for that. So a whole host of lots and lots and lots of different things, and I've been able to solve and heal all of those things, and off they go, skipping back into their life completely free of it, and it's like it never happened for them. And it's I say it all the time. I just love it. I just love what we do, and not for me. I mean, I love it, but just to see how much of an impact that it has on that person. To come in completely weighed down, bogged down, can't see a way out, and then within an hour and a half, they've just like completely got their life back, and they're skipping, and they've basically got their life back. So it's been really, really good, and so I've been doing that. I've just released also 2 tracks, so which I've posted out recently. One called Desiderata, and another one called My Song, which is sort of the lyrics for that. Amazing lyrics, and it sort of relates to me, so I posted that out. Cool. And I'm back down the gym as well after 6 or 7 weeks, because obviously I did my shoulder. Right. So anybody that's watching, I had a really quite a bad shoulder injury actually, and I went to see John, and he fixed it for me, and within 5 minutes of coming out, we're having a conversation outside the clinic. That triggered a response in me, and all the work that he'd done just pushed it all back in. So John said, well, you've holding trauma there, an emotional trauma there, which I was, and it's taken about 6 weeks to clear. Now I've got rid of all of the trauma from that. Without any physical work, the whole thing's pretty much healed up. And so I'm hoping now when I come and see you next time that'll be done. But I have actually now back down to gym training. I've missed it. It's really, really good. And yes, so that's basically really what I've been up to. But like I said, I haven't really seen the light of day, to be quite honest. I've just been so busy.
No, so that's good. Excellent.
Great. So moving on. We normally do the most stupidest thing you've heard this week. And so, well, it is the stupidest thing I've heard this week, but it sort of is.
Yeah.
So what happened is that 1,000 doctors in Spain took the health minister to the High Court to get them to prove that COVID-19 actually existed. And that was to prove that they'd isolated it. It was true. It was real. And they turned up at the High Court. And funnily enough, the health minister didn't turn up.
That's a shocker.
No.
I'm stunned.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. The health minister didn't turn up with any evidence for proof.
No.
And so the judgment went in the favour of the doctors. So that's the 9th country now, by the way. That's the 9th country now that have basically prosecuted the government or anything to do with health to get proof that it's true and it's real. And 9 times they haven't been able to do it, which is what we said from the start. But funnily enough, she then went back on the TV 3 days later and told everybody that they still need to carry on wearing masks and follow the rules now because of flu. So now they've moved it from that because I can't say that anymore. And now she's saying, but yeah, I know, but you still got to carry on with all of the stuff. But this time it's now because of flu. So they're just literally taking
by that because they've had flu before and there's not a problem. So you don't need to wear a mask to resolve flu.
Absolutely. Which now...
if they bought that in, they're stupid. Seriously.
Most people have bought it.
Oh dear.
So,
really?
How much more evidence do you need to... Anyway, which just brings me on. So, like I said earlier on, I just wanted to play this. This is from a podcast that I listen to. It's something I regularly follow, and it's just some really amazing information that I just want to share to you. Now you can take this or leave it, but I think it's important that we share it. And we listened to it earlier on. We did, and normally we wouldn't do this, but obviously myself and John, we've taken the position from the very, very start that this is a load of nonsense, and it was
complete giant hoax.
Yes, and so I want to play.
And it's not scientific. It's not scientific at all. This is science. What you're about to hear is actual
so we're going to play this.
Of a virus.
It's about maybe 5 minutes long. And so it's just really interesting information. And then once we finish with this, we'll have a little discussion and we'll move on to the topic of back pain. But I just wanted to really play this and just, so I'm hoping this is I'm not sure how this is going to work or whether you're going to be able to hear it very well. If not, could you just let me know in the chat whether you can hear it or not? So I'm just going to play this.
That's crazy. So, yeah, it's, the world is absolutely insane right now. And so we know that, Steve, you have been doing a lot of research. You and Ross have been doing a lot of research on the COVID-19 scamdemic. And I love your work on germs. And I was just talking to Cammie last night. It absolutely blows me away that doctors, at least at some level, have got to understand what you pointed out. Like in your germs movie, right? In the very, very beginning of this, you're saying that what they are calling viruses are nothing more than the essential discharge of toxic cells, right? And doctors,
garbage, yeah. They're dead cell. When a cell dies, it breaks into billions of pieces, and the only proof, the problem is, the only proof. There are these little particles when the cells die and break apart. There are these little particles, and they get a picture of them on a film, and they have spikes on them because they're deteriorating. You have to understand they've only done this in a lab when they poison the cell tissue and add the trypsin and the antibiotics. They've never seen this in nature. They've never done this to a live human cell. They do this in lab only. And as the trypsin, which is a liver-dissolving enzyme or kidney-dissolving enzyme, it does it unevenly, and they get these corona bulbs, they call them, these spike proteins. They just see this thing, and they say, it's coming into the cell and attacking. You're saying, well, show me that. Show me proof of that. It's coming out of the cell. You see, this is they have no proof of any of this. They're just assuming because, as we said in the film, Pasteur said these things existed for nefarious reasons. That's in the film as well. So they never double checked it. They just said, oh, there's some particles. Now we have an electron microscope. We can see them. Those are the viruses. And you say, well, just because you found little dots, little micro subatomic particles doesn't mean that they're viruses. You just found some dead cell garbage debris and assume that Pasteur was right. Nobody ever double checked him. So that's the virologists. Most of them aren't in on this. They just go to school and are taught this is what you do. And they do it and repeat what they're told, and they find it and go, yeah, there it is. The ones at the top understand how the scam works.
Yeah, but you would think that these people, I mean, especially at PhD levels or being in medical school for 8 to 12 years, plus any specialties, that they would at least have this level of understanding and look into these doctors that are saying, look, there's no such thing as a commutable virus, right? It just doesn't happen. You can inject people with these viruses and nothing happens to them. No one has ever been able to do this. I mean, for them to be oblivious to that, it just amazes me. How is that even possible?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on that no one knows right now is Dr. Stefan Lanka, the virologist and molecular biologist. He just did an experiment. And for the people listening, I'll explain maybe a little bit how a virologist does a cell culture. It's actually a tissue culture, because you have to understand, and he just blew it out of the water. Germ theory's done. So what they do is they take the sputum, which is your snot or boogers or phlegm or lung tissue or whatever they sample of a sick person, and they put that in a petri dish with monkey kidney tissues that are dying. Then they add some milk, and then they add some bovine calf serum, which is baby cow broth. And that's the nutrients to keep it so the cells don't totally die. That's the nutrients they give the cell culture. And then they add sometimes some alveolar A459 lung cells from people with cancer in their lungs. And sometimes they add embryonic kidney tissue from fetuses. And then they add antibiotics, gentamicin, erythropoietin, and then they add this enzyme destroying, kidney destroying enzyme called trypsin. So what happens then, they starve it. In other words, they take away the bovine calf serum. So there are no more nutrients to keep these cells alive. Now, what you have to understand is they've never purified and isolated a virus before with these little particles. And they claim they're too small, that they can't do it. So they say, we can't isolate it. And you're like, well, you can't have a PCR test looking for a genetic sequence of something you've never isolated and sequenced. That's like saying, that's like saying we made a test to find a pink unicorn hoof, but since we don't have a pink unicorn, they look like horses in legends, so we'll take 10 horse hoofs and mix them together in a computer, and if it looks like that, it's probably a unicorn. But what Stefan Lanka just did is he took no spit sample from no person who's sick, nothing. He just took the virologist's monkey kidney tissues, added in the bovine calf serum, added in the trypsin, the gentamicin, erythropoietin, and then starved it. And lo and behold, he made the virus particles, right? Mm-hmm. With no sick person's sputum. So you can't say it's COVID-19. Then he ran a PCR test, which is just looking for little genetic fragments found in 92 normal human cell chromosome sequences and 90 bacteria sequences found in humans. He ran the PCR test at 12 cycles and got a 20% match for COVID-19. Then he ran the PCR test for 30 cycles and got an 80% match, and then ran it at over 40 cycles like the WHO and all the other labs do,
almost
and got a 100% match for COVID-19 on a sample that had no person's spit, sputum, phlegm, boogers, nothing in it.
Unbelievable.
Now what he's doing is he's taking the exact same sample and he's running Ebola, HIV, Zika, and he's going to test the same thing. He's going to show you that this one sample is going to test positive on any virus he wants it to by how often he spins the PCR cycle.
Right, because the more you do it, basically the more you're just adding in flotsam, information that is pointless. It's useless, right? And it'll come up eventually with a positive on anything.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he's testing these viruses positive, and there's no person had them. He's just using the stuff virologists use.
God, that's insane.
So it's over.
So there you go. So I find that really, really interesting.
It's fascinating. So basically, there's no human sample. He's not taking any human sample from a human like they normally do, and add that to mix. He's leaving that out of the mix and just using the other ingredients, which have nothing to do with the human whatsoever, but he's still generating the virus
using the PCR
test. Which basically proves that the PCR test is not, and the tests that they use are not generating anything. Because there's no, it has nothing to do with a human sample.
Exactly.
So whatever it's just generating it out of the stuff that's left.
He got 100% hit for COVID-19 based on a test which had no human tissue, cells, anything in it.
Based on 40 cycles.
Based on 40 cycles, which is everyone's using. So that's why there's all these cases and everyone's apparently got it.
That's right. Yeah.
But it also proved that COVID-19 isn't based in human.
It's not based from the human cells. And it's based out of everything. And
the most important thing is if you haven't isolated it, and got the genetic code from it, then what are you actually testing against? So when somebody's actually doing a test, what are they actually looking for?
Exactly.
If they haven't actually got the code, then what are they matching it up to say whether it's not the whole thing? And we said this from the very, very start. And so I just thought that was really, really interesting. You can take it or leave it, ladies and gentlemen. I know that most people want to believe it because, they've been brainwashed by TV and media and friends have got sick and they've had the test, but sickness isn't, sickness doesn't work that way, and we've actually basically explained how sickness is created in everybody, and there's always a cause and effect, and the cause is always an emotional response or a shock in your environment, which we go on every week after week, and sooner or later people will start understanding what's really going on and realize that this current system that we use that for causes of illness is incorrect.
Yes, so completely incorrect. I mean, the FDA even came out recently. I don't know if it was a leaked document or someone admitted it. I don't know what it was, saying that they haven't the PCR test they've used to test against has not been tested against the actual COVID virus.
So how was anybody?
Because they can't. They can't test against it because they can't isolate it.
Exactly.
So they've actually released that, or it's been released. That document has been released, proving they haven't done that. So and that's the FDA. Yeah. So that's the governing body. If you don't know, that regulates all drugs and everything for the whole world.
So here's my thing. So if that's true, so what have all these people actually really died of?
Exactly.
Have they really died of it?
Yeah.
Or and what are they? So all these people and all these businesses and all these lockdowns, what's it actually really been about?
Yeah. And that's all we want people to ask. We want people to ask the question. Well, wait a minute. What's really killing people? What is really out there? Because it ain't a virus.
Well, you might want to check my Dazzle out.
Yeah, you might want to check.
Especially if you've had somebody in the care home die, but that's a different story.
Different story.
That's
but that is a fascinating scientific, pure science.
Yeah.
That is actual, genuine science at work at its best, telling you the scientific explanation for viruses.
And the thing is when they first come out, and when you first told me that you can't catch virus, and I went and said, really? And I went and researched it. It was Stefan Lanka that I went and researched.
Yes.
And I've been saying this all along. It was him that researched it. He was actually doing it in marine stuff that actually proved that the viruses actually don't really exist, and he'd done that with measles and all of them. And funny enough, now he's back on the scene, and later on in that interview, it says he's actually doing this test with HIV, Ebola, and all the other viruses to prove that all of those viruses exist in that same sample that he's used. Yeah. But he's got some top Swiss virologist now who's now overseeing it, and if that now comes out to be true, then that's going to go across the whole world of virology, and you'll probably find out that the whole thing now comes down, and it's going to completely re-educate everybody and get exposed virology for what it really is. But anyway, I just found that interesting and worthwhile sharing.
Yes, it's fascinating. It's great to see a scientist actually revealing, because I learned about Stefan Lanka when I was learning meta health, because it came up because of what he was doing about virology and what meta says about viruses. We just want people to know so they're not freaked out by their health. Yeah. People are getting sick and dying partly because they think there's something there when there's not, and they're trying to resolve it with a vaccine or a drug.
Well, that's the other thing then. If that don't exist, what's all that about?
Well, a vaccine, exactly. Yeah. We're only trying to help people get better naturally without poisoning yourself.
Yeah. Which also another thing I like about it is that I'm glad that that's now starting to come out, because in some ways it sort of exonerates us from what we've been saying for the last 19 months, and people think that we're nutters. Yeah, it's all out there. It's all on the telly. It's all on. What are you talking about? I've had a test. Yeah, no, but the PCR test doesn't detect. I've had the test. I've had it. I was here. What do you think? And it's just really difficult. And I'm like, well, it's not that, But anyway, exactly. So let's see how that unfolds. I'm quite looking forward to that and seeing how that unfolds. And I think over time now, more and more exposure is going to happen. And then hopefully we'll all get back to living in some sort of sanity again, because the world's gone crazy.
It has gone very crazy.
Yeah, it's gone absolutely mental. People so believe it. It's just, but because they don't do the research, they haven't gone, okay, well, what is a virus? Let's go and look at. So the first thing I did was, what is it? Go and look it up, and how's it going to affect me? And then I learned about the PCR test. And I went, who invented the PCR test? Carrie Mullis. Let's listen to what he's got to say. And he says, the PCR test is designed to detect infection. I'm like, okay, so they're using a test that can't detect infection. Yeah. To detect an infection for a virus that they haven't isolated. So they don't even know what they're looking for.
No. I know.
And yet everyone's bought into it.
I know.
And there's no logic to it. And it really only took me 5 minutes to go and find that out. Look that out. There you go. You get rid of all of the fear, all of the stuff.
All the fear goes.
The problem is that people will not accept that, or don't really want to accept that the government and the corporations have gone to war against the people of the world. That's fundamentally that's what's basically going on.
I think more people are accepting it now. More people are waking up every single day, and they're really starting to accept that. Yeah. They're starting to learn that really the government is not your friend. No. They're not there to help you. And right now they're definitely not there to help you. They're there to suppress you and lock you up and do whatever they can to get control over you, basically.
Yeah. I think that's what's going on. But anyway, so we don't know a bit about that. So we'll do that. So let's go on to the topic now, which is originally what we're going to discuss.
Oh yeah, back pain.
Back pain. Yeah. So and obviously I've had 3 operations, and when I met Jonathan, like I said in previous podcasts, he said to me, what was wrong, and in my normal arrogant ignorant way at the time, I just fobbed it off and didn't really want to listen to you.
Yeah,
So, I know, really.
Yeah.
But you know, I learned my lesson. I learned
That's what people do.
And so, you know, and now I know what is causes of it. And I've actually gone in and actually, like I said, I'm down the gym now. I'm down the gym training, and they told me
because you were frightened of your back.
Yeah, absolutely. I was told by experts that I should be.
Yes, exactly.
So you know, I'm now like squatting, you know, probably about 120 kilos for a small guy my size, and you know, I was told I was never lift anything more than 25 kilos ever.
Right. Well,
so you know, yeah. So
and that is a myth about back pain. So a myth about back pain: when you have back pain, you shouldn't do anything. Yeah. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. And the truth about that is that you should know what you can and can't do at varying stages and degrees of your rehabilitation or your healing of your back pain. And this depends on person to person because everyone's back pain is different. Well, when I say that, no, everyone. This is another myth about health. So there's a massive myth about health that we are all different, and something different causes our problems. Bollocks. We are not all different. The only way we're different is in our personality and in our character. But other than that, when it comes to our health, we are all the same. We all respond exactly the same way. Our bodies respond exactly the same way. And back pain is caused by the exact same things. It's either caused by some shock or trauma, poor movement, or poor flexibility. That's it. Don't care what's happening in the body. That's what's going on. You can be anything happening in the body. That's just a label. That's just a symptom inside the body of something that's been caused by one of those three things. And so many people, I mean, Steve had been told not to do anything. I remember one of my clients coming to me. She was a lady and she had back pain 20 years earlier. And she'd been told by a doctor to not use it. So she stopped using her body. And then when she did decide to use her body again, that's when her back went again. So then she got referred to me.
Same thing happened with me pretty much.
Yeah. So I had to build confidence in her as well as not only fix the back pain and tell her that there's nothing wrong with her back. She had no operation. She'd had nothing severe diagnosed. She was just in the garden one day doing gardening, felt pain. A doctor at that time, 20 years earlier, said, "Oh, you got this." Can't remember what it was. It was nothing. And said, "Well, don't use it." So she did. But then when she went to do something again, injured it. So part of my job when people have back pain is to not only fix the back so they can use it and move it again, but give them confidence, change their belief system because you get taught a lot of nonsense by doctors. And in fact, I have a good example.
Sherlock.
Yeah, I have a really good example of that. So it's not about back pain, it's about shoulder. So a lady's been seeing me for shoulder pain, and she's a nurse, and she's had it for months. Probably longer than that, actually. I can never remember how bit of a long.
5 months?
Probably, possibly. I don't know. 6 months, probably years.
You said 4 months.
4 months. Did I? I had it 4 months. Oh god, it was a really subtle joke. Yeah, straight over my head. Completely oblivious. It wasn't a great joke, was it, folks?
It wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a great joke.
Asking.
So she's had it for a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she just sort of doesn't like doctors herself. She's a nurse, bear in mind. So she doesn't like doctors herself. So she didn't really go and see anybody. I think she'd been to an osteopath or someone. Anyway, so I take a look at it, and basically all she's done is she's trapped tissue in a shoulder socket. But obviously the conflict for it is a burden. She's being burdened in her life. And so we find the burden, and I teach her a way. We didn't really clear it, but I taught her a way to stop being burdened, to stop letting people do that to you. And gradually has been doing it. She's been getting better. But she had this appointment with an orthopedic doctor or whatever it was. And he said to her, "Oh, it's your nervous system. Your nerves are on edge." And she said she's avoiding doing things like press ups at the moment, lifting heavy things. Yeah. Because I've told her at the moment to avoid things until we rehabilitate her and get her strength back and make sure the tissue is released. So I've told her not to do certain things. I've told her what she can and can't do. And we're rehabilitating her and she's getting better and better. And this doctor then said, "Well, you can do press ups. You can lift whatever you want." And I'm like, "Really, you fucking idiot." Yeah. So now if she wasn't listening to me, she would go and do other things that he's told her to do. She'd re-injure it because she's not ready to do those things. He's right in the fact that there's nothing she won't be able to do in the future, but not right now. And he was saying you do it right now. Yeah. He basically lied to her. He didn't look at her, didn't touch her. He misdiagnosed that it wasn't nervous. Her nervous system is fine. It's just trapped tissue in the shoulder.
Are these the same sort of doctors that tell you that you need to do exercise and be with nature for depression?
Yes, these are the same sort of doctors.
I just wanted to, because
not an orthopaedic doctor.
No, because I have loads of people tell me, and I hear them all on YouTube. They go, "Oh yeah, you need to be out with nature, and you need to do exercise because that's good for depression."
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's got nothing to do with depression. There's no relevance to it whatsoever. Why are you telling somebody to do that?
Well, the reason they say that is because it releases endorphins and things like that.
Yeah, great. I can have a pint of lager and that releases alcohol in me.
That's
so
right. Yeah,
it's irrelevant.
Exactly.
It's pointless.
I know. It doesn't.
But these
really...
are doctors. They're meant to be experts.
What really happens in that scenario, if people actually want to know, because I remember I there was a guy in the
Is this
local...
about back pain?
No, it's about
depression
and things like that. But what happened was I met this guy in the spa, and he was telling me that basically what happened was he split up with his girlfriend, and so he decided he would just get up in the middle of the night and work out. He'd go down the local 24-hour gym and start working out. And he just worked out. And then he met somebody else and he moved on. And he was putting the exercise down to lifting his depression. But in reality, all that happened was over a period of time, he just started to let it go. Then he met someone new. Yeah. That resolved the issue in his unconscious mind and he moved on.
Well, all depression...
It wasn't the exercise that actually resolved his depression.
Yeah, because we know that depression is caused by a loss conflict. So all the time he's running that loss, he's going down the gym, he then gets somebody in his life that loss resolves the conflict of loss, and now he no longer... but he'll put it down to the gym.
But he'll put it down to the gym. Yeah. Not realising that actually it got resolved in his environment.
Yeah.
But if we come back to pain, I mean...
Back pain. We need to talk about back pain. See, it's about back pain. So.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But this lady was told something that's not true, and a lot of people are told with back pain they're not true. Like, you can't do certain things.
Yeah.
One guy came to me and he had sciatic pain, and he had problems lifting his arms, and it all came. His back was all knackered because of a knee operation. So everyone was looking at his back, but actually it was his knee that was the problem. So people don't look at the root cause of the problem. They're not looking at referred pain or the actual root cause. In this case, it was a lack of flexibility in his knee. So when I say a lack of flexibility is one of the issues, in this case, it was a lack of flexibility in his knee, so he was using his back to move. Yeah. And that's actually one of the biggest causes of pain. You know, when I looked at you walk recently?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lack of flexibility because I couldn't make Wednesday at 3.
That's right, you couldn't. That's right. That's exactly it. Yeah, exactly. That's So we changed it to Saturdays.
And I was all right after that. Everything resolved, and I was much better.
But you've been walking with your belly button, haven't you? You've been walking your belly button.
I've been walking, pushing my stomach out as I was walking forward. Yeah. I didn't realise it until I started doing it.
No. So a lot of people, they don't realise that one of the biggest causes...
strange look when I think about it. I look very strange walking down.
Well, no one will notice it because it was a very subtle thing. It was a subtle movement. It's not like you were really...
I'm going to have to get rid of the shame for that.
But a lot of people don't realise one of the biggest causes of their back pain is the fact that they're using their back to move and not their legs, and they don't know it. And that's often one of the first things I fix, and their back pain either completely goes or reduces right down.
Yeah.
Even if there is a shock in there, because the shocks cause you to move that way. And so a lot of people, when they're sitting and standing, they're using their back to sit and stand, not their legs. And you won't necessarily know you're doing it because it's not like it's
an unconscious thing.
It's an unconscious response, and you won't necessarily know by me saying this how to move correctly, because I can't show you on this video camera. It's not easy for me to show you. But a lot of people, it's the way they're using because they're not using their legs, they're using their back to lift up or to sit down, or they're walking with their belly button and driving forwards. They're just walking and they're getting more and more pain.
I see other people walking forward with their heads and they're using their shoulders.
That's right. Yeah, they use all sorts of things to propel them. But they're not using their legs.
Yeah. Which is actually what we meant to use when we walk, aren't we?
That is what we're meant to use. We are meant to use our legs.
Ladies and gentlemen, but that's what we're there for. Even though we don't really use them properly, me included.
No.
I'm trying to walk better now.
Yeah,
I say trying, don't like the word try.
No,
I am walking
you are way better. It's a
better.
very simple thing to fix as well. I've never really met anyone who couldn't change the way they moved or the way they walked, because most time I see people, they are actually fit and healthy in other ways. And most people's legs are fine. And what happens is that often people with back pain, they find their legs are getting weaker or their knees are giving way as well. And that's because they're not using their legs. So their legs are getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and they're using the back for everything. And it doesn't matter what you have, what you've been diagnosed with, whether it's a slip disc or sciatica or something more serious.
Trapped nerve, for example.
Well, yeah, trapped nerve, well, that's sort of sciatica, or where it's muscle, or where it's you put spine out, or whether it's a pelvis problem, or whether it's a sacral problem. It's literally irrelevant. All of these things are symptoms. They're just labels for what's happening in the body. So obviously sciatica is a label for the nerve being trapped. Slip disc is a label for the disc slipping out, although actually it doesn't actually slip out. That's a bit of a myth. It gets pushed out, but it doesn't slide. A disc is not slippery. A disc is actually more like a pastel fruit. It's very squidgy, and so it gets pushed out, it gets crushed down one side, and it gets squeezed out. And all of these things are just labels for what's happening inside the body. They're not the cause. The problem is that you get labeled with that, and the doctor goes, well, that's the cause. And now everyone tries to treat that, but you're treating the wrong problem. Yeah. And while you treat that problem, you're going to get stuck in pain. What you have to do, let's say the disc has slipped out or crushed, you have to go, right, well, what's caused that? And then that comes down to poor movement, poor flexibility, or a shock or a trauma.
Yes.
Now, for those of you who want to know what a shock or trauma is for your lower back, if you're talking about your lumbar spine, then that's at the lower part of your back. I'm not talking about the pelvis. I'm not talking about the sacral area. I'm talking about slightly higher. So your L1 to L5 area. That is to do with feeling walked over or your core values being gone against. Now, the walking over is obvious. It's where you feel like people don't listen to you. They just do what they want. You don't get a say. You always have to do what other people want. You're just walked over all the time. The core values, it just means that someone has gone against your belief systems. They've done something that you wouldn't do in a million years. Or, what's rarer but still possible, you've gone against your core belief systems. You've gone against something that for you was a really core belief and you've broken it. That's rarer, but often it's more someone else going against your core values. But most of the time it's feeling walked over. So if you're suffering with very severe back pain, then it's a really deep feeling of being walked over. It's a really deep self-worth issue. Obviously, if it's a sciatic issue, then there's a territory issue involved with that because it's the nerve. So that's about not being able to move forwards within your space, in your environment, in your territory. And if it's the sacral area, so if it's like the sacrum down, that's a sexual issue. So that is a sexual self-worth conflict. And that can be literally anything. I remember one lady years ago before I had DTO, she had an unstable sacrum. And she did everything. She was a Bowen therapist. She tried everything. Nothing stabilized it. And it literally came from a shock she had with her own sex life about her partner giving her a book of sexual positions. Instant shock, made her feel worthless. And also a shock to do with her daughter's friend at college who was doing something sexual that...
What, did you get it from the library?
See, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
You don't even buy it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got to take this back after 3 weeks. I've got to learn all that in 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a shock, wouldn't it?
It would, massive shock, yes. Because she wasn't a gymnast.
Yeah. And you got to rehearse all of them as well.
Yeah, it's very difficult to rehearse on your own, isn't it? It's tough.
It is.
So
I know some people that would probably succeed.
Would try that. Do you reckon?
Exactly,
It depends how flexible you are.
Yeah, I can't do Thursday. I told you.
No, you can't. That's right. So that's why we do Tuesdays and Fridays, isn't it?
Yeah, Tuesdays and
Fridays. But another type of sexual shock can be, your partner putting you down sexually, or it can be,
you starving you of it.
Starvation of it. And actually, that actually happens in a lot of women. When they have a poor sexual relationship in their one relationship, then they move to another one, and the sex is good. They then start getting sacral pain. That's because that's the resolution.
Yeah.
And they have no idea why they'll get hip pain because the hips is all against sexual or nurture. But again, that's the same thing. So they'll often get pain in that area because they've now got good sex, or they're being made to feel good about sex. Yeah. Whereas in their previous relationship, they weren't. Yeah. And you'll only get pain when you've resolved the conflict, when you are trying to feel better about it. When you're in the stress about it, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, which we've talked about in other podcasts about stress and repair phase.
However, what I will say is what happens sometimes as well. You might have a relationship where you're not getting good sex. Or in this particular case. And then if one day you do end up having sex with your partner, you might end up with sacral pain the next day because you've resolved the issue. And then what you might do is go, I had sex last night, that's what it was. No, it wasn't. It was the resolution of the conflict.
Yeah.
It was you feeling better because you actually got sex. So now, obviously, it doesn't always affect people that way. But obviously, the most common one is the lumbar spine.
Yeah.
And that's feeling walked over.
Yeah, and also, well, sciatica as well. And I've had lots and lots of people that have come to me. And I was talking to this with a few of my clients. One of them's a physio, I think. And it was a funny conversation.
Yeah. I bet that was interesting.
It was interesting. Well,
yeah.
Do you know what? She was great because she actually, after I cleared some stuff for her, she got it because she had loads of bad neck pain, which is obviously injustice and burden. So she had really bad neck pain and shoulder pain.
Yeah.
And she'd had it for ages and ages and ages. And I just went and switched off I said, okay, what's the injustice? Switched off the burden. Pain's all gone.
Yeah.
So she sort of woke her up to it. And I was telling her about sciatica and the amount of people that come to me with sciatica. And I don't even have to physically touch them. All I need to do is go to, where do you feel stuck in life or you can't move forward?
Yeah.
And once I've got rid of all of the responses, all the emotional responses and all the reactions and responses to it, the anger, the guilt, shame or whatever it is, pretty much instantly, the pain reduces pretty much almost gone, unless they actually have to come and see you where they've actually got to release the nerve where it's been
every now and again. You sometimes have to do that.
But generally, I basically solve most people's sciatica without even touching them. So just by going to that, which then reaffirms the thing that causes it, which is feeling stuck and not being able to move forward. And as soon as you get rid of that and get rid of all of the beliefs of not being able to move forward, then all of a sudden they move forward, and then all of a sudden the sciatica goes.
That's right. Yeah.
So I just wanted to pipe in and chime in. I just got some. So I've got I got Dee. She said that she's had back pain, but she put it down to her tight jeans. Honestly,
sorry, Dee.
Yeah.
No. Tight jeans don't cause back pain.
It's a bit weird because I do send a video to my clients which explains about making up shit and believing the shit you make up.
Do you?
Yeah, no, honestly, because they're
not getting it, are they?
It is the only pandemic that's in the world right now. I did put a post out about it yesterday. Is the real pandemic which we have from school is making up shit about people, events, and circumstances and believing it, right? And then behaving from it. It's massively. You're all insane. We're all insane, right? So anyway,
we all do it. Don't get me wrong. We all do it.
So anyway, Dee, based on that, should you really be saying that?
No.
But she's saying that she's been starved from sex and she has back pain, so that'd probably be.
It could quite easily be that. If you're resolving the conflict somehow, if you're still in stress about it, then maybe not. So don't. You've had to resolve the conflict in some way. And if it's your sacral area, then if it's higher than that, then it's probably not that. But no, tight jeans won't cause back pain. It's very common. I mean, people blame their mattresses all the time. They blame chairs, and that's why all these offices, they do the health and safety. They bring in the chairs and the tables. It's a great way to sell chairs and tables, but it does nothing for the back pain. It makes you a little bit more comfortable. But actually, the real cause of back pain in offices is actually the swivel chairs, because people swivel round and they leave their legs behind, so they're actually pulling their spine out of place. So it's poor movement. So they're actually twisting their back in the wrong way when it's not designed to do that. And also standing at the water cooler talking to your boss with your feet turned out like a penguin, that is what will do it in offices as well.
That's why I keep going back, because I stand.
That's right. If you're standing like a penguin, and what you're doing is you're literally tightening your back, and you're weakening your stomach and your hips.
So I was just thinking, so I stand with my feet like that, and I walk with my belly pushed out. Maybe I am a penguin.
Yeah, you could be a penguin. Maybe it's a penguin in the past life.
Maybe I was a penguin in the past life.
So
if I get a black and white suit, black white shirt, black suit, walk down there, get yourself an umbrella.
Yeah, you'd be all right.
Yeah, great, wouldn't I? Yeah. And I'm dressing up for then, Amy Party.
I could dress up as Batman, and we could remake the Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito movie.
We could do,
yeah. So I can do Batman. I'm Batman. See, that's good. So often if you're standing with your feet turned out, again, it's a positional thing. It's a movement thing. And you're walking like that or standing like that, all you're doing is you're tensing your lower back muscles and you're weakening the stomach and the hips. And that's literally what you're doing. So if you're standing like that all day long, you're going to get back pain by the end of the day.
Yeah, and if you're walking using your middle back, rather than using your legs. So realistically, what we're saying is that your back's under constant pressure. It doesn't get any time off to relax. And if
there's no relaxation.
It's just like this all the time.
It's just being held tight.
Yes.
By the movement of the feet or your stomach.
Or how you're getting up, the swiveling of the chair.
Yeah.
See how you're sitting in your car even.
Yeah, everything
stuff like that.
So you just need to be mindful.
And any emotional shocks and traumas you have.
Exactly.
All adds up.
Anything like that all adds up. So when people come to me with back pain, I look at all three elements because all three elements are important. Sometimes you do it just clearing a shock, and sometimes you have to alter the movement as well. And I don't expect anyone watching this to be able to glisten how they're moving from what I'm saying, because it's a little bit more involved with that. You need me to look at you, you need me to assess what you're doing, and then show you correctly how to move. And that's something that a lot of therapists do not do. Therapists do not understand how people move. They do not understand the importance of movements, and they do not show you how to correct it. So many people have come to me from therapists, and they've been given exercises, but they were never shown how to do the exercise. They were given a sheet of exercises. They were never shown how to do the exercise. In my clinic, I show you exactly how to do the exercise.
You do with me, and you make sure that I do it over and over and over, so I know what I'm doing. So when I go away,
I keep track, and I make sure you're doing it correctly. And I will say a lot of exercise from other therapists are always wrong anyway. And most of the time I have to throw those out and give the person correct exercises because they're exercising the wrong problem. And often they're going to make it worse. And be careful. I know you're watching this on the internet, but be careful about YouTube videos where you see people talking. I watched one the other day just out of interest. I was actually away and I was watching this. And this guy was trying to explain to people how to take the pressure off your knees when walking up and down stairs. The problem is the way he was telling you to do it would cause you problems in the future with your back and your hips and your knees. So fucking stupid, and he's causing danger to people because he was literally telling you to walk with your feet turned out like that, up and down stairs.
Yeah, it's like all these. Well, it's all
these
spiritual coaches, positive thinking coaches, law of attraction coaches. Whatever they're all telling you won't actually help. It's just a distraction. It's just a move away. Well, it's and actually and you can try and do all those things as much as you like, but what they're actually doing is they're pushing you on a positive pendulum. So actually, if you want that, then the opposite's true. You need to get rid of the thing that's making you feel like you want that, and then you'll come back and it will happen naturally.
Yeah.
But all this positive thinking, reframing stuff, and if you've got blocks, beliefs, guilt, shames, and all the rest of it in there, it doesn't matter what positive thinking you do, because it's actually the feeling. So it's the emotional brain that's 95% of all your existence. So if it's your emotional brain that drives all your decisions and behaviors. So if you're trying to do positive thinking, you can positive think, but it ain't going to change anything.
No,
it might do for a little while, but you're just going to crash back. So you just crash back on the pendulum.
So be mindful what you learn on the internet, unless you've been looked at somebody's actually looked at you. I saw a lady the other day.
You saw a lady
at Emma's clinic, one of her therapists, and she'd been told about her knee again to walk with her feet turned out, and I'm like, you're just making the pain worse by doing that. Why are you doing that? And then when I corrected it and showed her how to walk, she went, oh yeah, it's much better. And this was from a French physio or osteopath, and
the physio,
and normally European physios are better, but obviously this person wasn't. And it's very frustrating because there's people out there.
A female physio, la physio.
I don't know. I'm not really. I can only do numbers in French. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six.
We should cease there.
Stop there.
Carry on
so again, movement is a very important thing. The way we move and use our bodies, and I don't mean posture. Posture's a bit of a myth. This is a bit of a myth. Standing up straight like this doesn't really do anything except make you look really stiff and uncomfortable. There is a time for having your body should be in line with itself. So your shoulders should be in line with hips and your ears and things like that. But I'm not like a rod up my arse. I haven't got like a stick.
Who are you talking about?
I'm saying I have.
I'm
saying you shouldn't sit so rigid like you've got a plank holding your back up. You should be relaxed in your posture. And it's not about posturing. I mean, they talk about sort of a book on your head. No. It's all bollocks. If you do that, you're actually going to get more problems because you're actually, most people, when they correct themselves, they run out of books. Well, they go too far back. So when they try and correct their shoulders or their neck, they're now back here. Now they're tightening their rhomboids.
Yes.
So now that's even worse thing to do. So now you're making another problem. So stop doing that. It's more about movement and the way we move our bodies and the way we use our bodies in everyday life and interacting with things. Your body should be in line with itself always. It shouldn't be twisting in multiple directions. It shouldn't be moving in multiple ways. Unless you are a trained dancer or a trained athlete, like a gymnast, then yes, you can do that because you are super busy. No, super flexible. And they are trained to be super flexible, so they can do it. And if you are super flexible, it's okay. But I saw a lady once, and she was getting back pain, and she was a ballet person. She wouldn't do ballet.
Dancer?
No, she was a
ballet person.
She's a ballet dancer. So yeah, so she wasn't. Yeah, but she wasn't. I think meant a normal dancer. She did ballet.
How is a ballet dancer a normal dancer?
I know. I'm not with it. Chef.
You're not.
I'm not with it. But she did ballet, and she was still doing ballet into her adult life, and she was flexible in most ways except one. And that was causing the problem because she wasn't stretching in one particular way. She was only stretching in one direction. Yeah. And of course, if you're a dancer, you can't do that. You have to stretch in all ways and you need to be flexible in all ways. And that's what people don't realize. They might be doing an exercise, and unless they're flexible and they know how to move correctly, it's not going to work. So a lot of people, they try and strengthen their core. I see this so many times. So if you've been told to strengthen your core, do not do sit-ups. For the love of God, don't do it, because you're going to injure your back more. This is not the way to strengthen your core, because sit-ups are bad for you. In fact, I've had quite a few guys recently come to me, and they've started an exercise regime wanting to get fit, but they've injured themselves because they're not doing it properly, because their core is not strong enough. If you want to get your core strong, there are basics that you have to be able to do first before you can do any kind of crunch or sit-up. And if you can't do those, you should not be doing any core. You shouldn't be lifting weights. You shouldn't be doing any kind of core exercise. I saw a guy who's been training in weights for years, and he was squatting completely incorrectly. So without a weight. So when he puts a weight on his shoulders, it's going to be completely wrong. He's going to injure himself. So we do these exercises without understanding how the body should move and the way the body should move safely. So a couple of guys, I actually corrected that so their pain went away so they could then exercise correctly. And one of them was back pain. He was getting back pain because he was doing sit-ups and crunches, but his stomach wasn't strong enough for it.
I knew a bloke once who was squatting incorrectly.
Was he?
Yeah, he was paying rent.
Was he?
Yeah, I don't think you got the idea of that.
That's not quite the idea, is it? No.
Yeah. So I know because you've done that with me, and there's a couple of exercises that I've been having to do. So we've got that. So, and obviously Jonathan really does know his stuff, ladies and gentlemen, and you really should take on board what he says when it comes to physical pain, because he's, like I said, he's an absolute genius. So I've just want to go back to. Do I go back to the thing?
You go back to the thing. What thing?
The feed.
The thing.
So I want to say, so we've got any hellos. We've got quite a few people posting on there. Okay, so Sarah, this live is brilliant. Thank you both. What is the name of your podcast, please? Okay, so it's the Inside Out Effect podcast. No, it's I can't remember what's going on. Inside Out Effect with Steve.
It's not just me.
It's the Inside Out Effect with Stephen and Jonathan. You can find it on YouTube, or you can go to my website and John's website, which is healingthemind.co.uk. If you click on podcasts, they're all on there. And on your site, DTO.
The DTO system, they're all on DTO system.
But if you go onto YouTube, you'll find them on there. It's Inside Out Effect with Stephen and Jonathan, and there's all 52 episodes on there.
They are actually on Apple as well, but I haven't uploaded some of the episodes yet. So they're on the Apple Podcasts and Stitcher as well. Yeah. So you can find them on there as the Inside Out Effect. Yeah. But I need to update some of the podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to point out that, you know, what we've come to learn is that there's only really 7 things that cause everything, really. Maybe 8 if you include beliefs, and they are basically the same 8 things that cause depression, anxiety, PTSD, trauma, limiting beliefs, can't move forward, relationship problems, physical pain, and the like. Unless it's a physical problem where there is bad, poor movement. Whatever
that does come into it, right? But the trauma normally causes you to move in.
Yeah, no. The reason I was saying that is because basically there's 52 podcasts on there, and each of the podcasts covers everything from PTSD, from sabotage, we do the law of attraction stuff on there, from anxiety, depression. It's all the same. And what we're actually doing is going into what actually causes it, not what the nonsense is out there that we're told. What causes it? And we know what causes it because we've healed it and solved it in everyone. Everybody, PTSD, depression, anxiety, trauma, limiting beliefs, getting people to attract the thing that they want in their life pretty much instantly like that. So that's all on there. I'm having a bit of I'm selling it.
You're selling it? You're selling it?
Yeah, so how
much selling it for?
I don't know. Maybe I might start asking for subscription fees now. Yeah, it's only $10.99 a month for the first 3 months, and it's $4.99 for the next 2 months after that.
We wouldn't do that.
No, it's not.
We would do that.
We give this information.
So hope that's helpful, Sarah. You know where to look. Any other information? Anybody? Why can't I speak tonight? What is the matter with that?
That's normally me.
Not say anything.
Mum's watching.
Your mum?
No, your mum.
Oh, my mum's watching.
Hi, Ruth.
Hey, mum. You all right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, she does watch. She does listen. I don't know. She didn't know she watched
Well,
live.
come on live.
No, she doesn't normally come on live.
Vicar Dibley must not be on then, is it?
No, that's right. No.
Sky gone down, Ruth.
Sky's gone, yeah. So that's good. Anyone else?
No, that's it at the moment.
That's it. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
right.
I was Sarah. We've got a few other people said hello, so hi to you guys as well. So yeah, so anything else you want to cover about? I just want to maybe go to maybe the middle back and the neck area as well because we haven't covered that.
Okay, yeah. So as you got at the back, there's different conflicts. So the lumbar lower is walked over, core values being gone against. As you go up into your thoracic, so the middle of your back, you've got money issues and feeling stabbed in the back. So depending.
I lost £5 in the. Yeah, no, I'm not even. That's a shit joke.
That's a dreadful joke. Yeah. Really so skip over that. So money issues or feeling stabbed in the back, and as you get up into the neck, then that and the higher neck, higher back, sorry, in the neck, then that's injustice or betrayal.
Yeah.
So those are the main conflicts that go and in the back, and they are very accurate. I've used those for years. Always found the conflict in 98% of people, and it's very, very accurate.
And if it's coming down into the shoulders and you're getting shoulder stuff as well, because that's where you've got carrying a burden or there's a burden. There's a burden on you.
So it's a burden or feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, which is a more severe thing. But a lot of people do feel that way because they take everything on for other people.
Yeah,
they carry it.
Yeah, exactly as well. But it goes into that victim mentality as well a little bit.
Exactly.
As well,
and so once you find the conflict and you resolve the conflict, and then you change any movements that the conflicts cause you to do, and then you increase the flexibility.
Correct.
Then the problem goes away. I mean, that's literally what I do. I literally find the conflict. Now, you don't always have to find the conflict. I will say that. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes someone will come to me. I'll just improve the flexibility. I'll change the movement and the pain will go away. But it is better if you are willing to find the conflict and heal it, because then you can pretty much guarantee that it's not going to happen again in the future, or at least it won't happen for a very long time unless that conflict rears its ugly head again. Which is rare, but sometimes it can. So it's much better if you can heal the conflict, because it actually affects your whole body, make you feel healthy and better in general.
I was doing amazing for me. I mean, it's a total transformation for me by just getting rid of all of my stuff and physically as well. I'm so much.
No, you're fitter, you're stronger, you're healthier. You look younger. I mean, it's when you heal your emotions, it's amazing.
Yeah, just in a couple of years as well, and it's been dedicated to it for 2 years.
I was going to say you really worked hard because you had a lot of stuff. But but no, I mean, it's amazing what you can do by just healing your emotions and healing your thoughts.
But it's as simple as a thing. You can either sit on the armchair, just watching shit TV, getting brainwashed, believing the fear, watching crap, or you can just dedicate a couple of hours a day of, instead of sitting there doing nothing, or drinking Stella, or shoving chocolate in your mouth, or whatever you get up to at home, eating cheddars. That was my one. Eating cheddars.
Mini cheddars.
No, the big.
The whole big cheddar.
Brie on. Instead of doing that, actually just be prepared to do the work, because all the time you're doing that, you're going backwards, you're not really getting better, you still got all of your emotional trauma stuff, you're putting on weight and blah 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 blah, and it doesn't really add to any benefit to your life. No. And I can say that categorically because I've just been dedicated to it myself. And what happens is, after a period of time, is that becomes the norm. And so now I don't even really want to watch telly. I've got so much stuff going on that I've created now outside of that. I still watch the occasional TV program, like Squid Game. I don't know if all of you have been watching that. Well, that's been brilliant. So Squid Game, you've got to watch that. I've been telling you about that. Okay, I smashed that out in 3 evenings. But so I do it occasionally. But but I'm still dedicating 2 hours a day to my stuff and being creative. So just think about that. Like we always say, we haven't got enough time. But you've always got enough time to waste. We waste so much time. We've always got enough time to watch the news. You've always got enough time to watch whatever programs you're watching, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think you'd be smart and dedicate that time into improving your health, improving your life, and dealing with your stuff. And then life just becomes so much better, rather than just sitting there on the sofa, just basically watching other people live their lives while you're wasting yours. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's 8 times out of 10, it's simple to resolve your issues. Very simple.
I mean, some people might have a lot of issues. It takes time to resolve a lot of issues. 2% of the time, people are very complicated and stuck. but most of the time it's quite simple to resolve your issues. But what I want to say in finishing off is, if you are experiencing back pain and you are experiencing, severe pain or mild pain, please don't blame things, inanimate objects, for why you have pain.
It's the box.
People blame the bed, they blame the pillow, they blame the box they've lifted, they blame the gym, they blame everything to why they have pain, because it looks, the car, it looks like it because you was there at the time, but that was just coincidental. You could have been anywhere at the time. That's irrelevant. It's nothing to do with those things. It literally comes down to three things: the way we move, our flexibility, and a shock or a trauma. That's it. And if you resolve those three things, in no matter what person I've seen with what pain, it always comes down to those three things. And that's why I'm able to fix pain when a lot of therapists aren't, because I look at those three things and other therapists just don't. They don't look at those three things. They try and fix the symptom in the body, and you can't fix a symptom in the body because that's not a cause. You can only fix a symptom once you address the cause.
Yeah, so I know there's no many people out there getting bent out of shape. What do you mean it's not a thing? And I've just someone posted it, says, can it not be the bed? I lifted the bed once and then it started hurting.
Right, okay.
Just explain about the conflict, and the thing that we do then is brought into our life to expose the conflict in order for you to repair it.
Yeah. So, okay, so if you move and lift something incorrectly, then yes, you're going to be sore and you might hurt yourself, but it will resolve within a few hours or a day or two. If it continues, then there's something else wrong. There's something else going on. And all it means is that you lifting the bed triggered it off. That's all it means. Whatever you've lifted, whatever you've done, it triggered it off. I'll give you an example. So a guy came to me many years ago. He was in his 60s. He was a milkman, and he trapped his sciatic nerve.
It was Ernie.
No, he wasn't Ernie. He wasn't a fastest milkman in the West. Oh. No, he was not. No.
I was going to say, he would have hurt his back doing that.
He would have hurt his back doing that. I know, yeah.
You're going at that speed.
Exactly. I know, yeah. So I loved Ernie, the fastest milkman. He was great, brilliant, the fastest milkman in the West. Anyway, so he injured his back. Now, I treated him physically because he was in his 60s. He wasn't interested in finding the shock or whatever. You could tell. And I treated him physically. And the first 3 weeks, I was releasing the nerve. It was getting better and better. I showed him what he could and couldn't do until the nerve was releasing. And he was getting better over each week. The fourth week, now bear in mind, this is what he did. In his mind, he was absolutely fine. He was on his milk round. He lifted a crate of milk. He felt his back go. And then 2 or 3 days later, when he was sitting down fishing, he went to get up, and that's when he really did his back in. So he blamed the crate, just like you're blaming the bed. Now, on the 4th session I saw him, he'd actually got worse again. And he said, well, I haven't done anything to get worse. So I was like, okay. He actually trapped it under his spine. Before, the nerve was just trapped in the muscle, but now it's trapped on the spine, which is a lot worse. So I just said to him, just out of interest, before you did this, what happened where you felt you stuck and you couldn't move forwards? And he said, oh, you know what? He said, I found this phone on my milk round, and it was an iPhone, and I'm too shy to give it back, so I got one of my colleagues to give it back. They phoned, the 2 guys came down, and he watched from a distance as these 2 guys who owned the phone came down and had a go at his friend for giving the phone back. Now, this went against his core values, which is why it hurt his back, because he would never treat someone like that. But it was a territory issue because he felt stuck and couldn't move on from it, because he was embarrassed and ashamed about the trauma that his friend went through. And for weeks, he hadn't seen this guy on his rounds. So what happened was, he saw that happen. Later on that day, he was lifting a crate. That's when the twinge happened. Then at the weekend, he started to relax about it and calm down while he was fishing. That moved him into repair, and that's when he trapped his nerve. So when I saw him, it trapped under the muscle, I kept releasing it. But the 4th week, when it got worse, I said, okay, well, if that's the conflict, what happened this week for you to resolve it? And he said, oh, you know what? I spoke to my friend. Hadn't seen him since it happened. And he said to me, don't worry, I'm totally okay about it. I'm fine.
Conflict resolved.
Instant resolve. And then he trapped his nerve under his back.
There you go.
Nothing to do with the box he lifted. Nothing to do with sitting down fishing. He just resolved the conflict, and he was lifting the crate at the time he resolved it in his head. That was it. And I can tell you countless stories, time and time and time again. Another one of my clients injured his back under the sink trying to fix the pipes, when in reality what it was, his girlfriend criticised his car. That made him feel walked over. As soon as he felt walked over, later on in his head he resolved it. and it gave you back pain. Yeah. So none of these things that we do physically cause the pain. You must remember that when we're doing physical things, our head is always with us. Our thoughts are always there. Our emotions are always running. Our unconscious is always ticking over. Yeah. This never leaves us.
And the thing is our unconscious is running 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day.
Even when you're sleeping, it's running.
It's running. It's on. And so if there's anything that happens that creates you to react or respond or react negatively, and sometimes we just do it unconsciously because it's our normal behaviour. You don't realise if someone might look at you the wrong way, say the wrong thing, bib at you incorrectly, a roundabout where you feel that's a bit of an injustice because you hadn't done anything wrong and he was the one that was in the wrong and he bibbed, you're like, we've had an idiot. You've actually had a response to that, and that injustice might then later on give you an neck ache. You know, I'm not your neck's hurting, and you won't know why, because it's when we consistently react to everything, person, event, situation, circumstance in our environment, that reaction stores a program in our brain that now runs. And that will be big conflicts, like, you know, husband, wife breaking up or losing your business, down to feeling the injustice because someone had a go at you at a roundabout even though you was in the right lane. That's still a conflict. That will still trigger you. So all of those things are getting stored all the time. And then, but you don't realize that they're happening. And this is the point. Now you'll go and lift the bed, but there's a conflict running that affects that area. Now that'll expose the conflict, or we get the conflict resolution, and then the back pain will go. So I know it's really difficult for people to understand and grasp the concept that it isn't the box, it isn't the weight, it isn't the bed, but actually it's a lot more simpler if you actually understand that and realize that actually all it is cause and effect. You see, everything's just an effect. We've got to get out of this mentality of thinking that our symptoms are the effect. If you've hurt yourself, if you've got a pain, if you've got depression and anxiety, if you've got a virus, a cold, a flu, they are all symptoms. They're all effects. They're not the cause. So if you can get your head around that and go, well, the cause isn't the bed. The cause is something in your mind that's weakened that area or causing a conflict. The bed is just the facilitator of that problem. So I hope
if you can get your head around that, it'll make your health so much easier. Your life will be much easier because you'll get to the root cause of it, switch it off, and you'll go back to being healthy and well, enjoying your life and being happy. The ones who don't get their heads around that or don't know it, they end up suffering, being miserable, being unhappy, and being sick and unwell.
Yeah.
Don't be wrong. If you've lifted the bed, you got back pain, a few days later it's gone, chances are it was poor movement and you lifted it incorrectly.
Yes.
You've got your back. Yeah. But if it continues, if it doesn't get better, then that either means you're moving incorrectly still, you're not flexible, or there's a conflict running, or a combination of those things. Yeah. So when I say it's all three of those things, it may not be all three at once. It might be one or two or a combination, but it's going to be one of those three things. And people do lift things all the time. Health and safety. The way health and safety teach you to lift is bollocks. Health and safety at work do not know how to lift things.
Yeah, but that's
the way they teach you.
That's a government organisation, so they're not going to do anything to help you.
It is, but the way they teach you.
That's like PCR test, mate.
Exactly.
Nonsense.
The way they're teaching you health and safety at work is incorrect. How do I know that? Because I get people come to me with back pain who injure themselves at work because they did what work told them, and it was bollocks. It doesn't work. There is a correct way to do it, and it's very simple. And if you know what to do, then you can protect your back very easily from injuring it by moving correctly. Obviously, I can't show you on the podcast because I need the camera. I can't move the camera. But there is a very simple way to move correctly and functionally. I call it functional movement. That's not my term. I got it from somewhere else. But it's a great term to describe it because you are moving functionally in your life.
Yeah.
But I will give you a tip. A tip is...
Oh, will you?
Yeah, I will give you a tip. Yeah.
Thanks.
A tip with your back.
That,
you have worked hard for that. I'm not just giving it to you. I'm giving it to everybody.
Okay.
A tip about your back is don't twist. Whatever you do, do not do this. Yeah, exactly. Or don't twist again.
Yeah.
If you're twisting like this, if you're reaching and you're twisting, just that little movement of reaching up to get someone on top shelf, you are then twisting your body. If you're twisting, what you're then doing is you're pulling your spine out of place, and that then creates tightness, problems, and puts the spine out and contract nerves.
There you go.
So avoid twisting. And sometimes twisting is subtle. Obviously, this movement is obvious if I twist like this. But don't twist on a swivel chair. I'm on a swivel chair. Don't twist your upper body and leave your lower body behind. Don't twist in the car to get something out because you're going to do yourself an injury. Don't twist at any time. Keep yourself in line. If you're going to turn with your feet. That's one of the biggest things, again, poor movement. That's one of the poorest movements people make is twisting.
Well, you pulled me up on that so many times.
Yeah, avoid twisting.
Yeah.
It takes thinking about, but if you can think about it, you'll protect your back. Since I learned these things, I've never had back pain since when I was younger, when I first learned.
So when I learned about what causes colds, I've not had a cold.
No, I've not had a cold or a virus since.
Yeah.
So once you learn and you really get it, your health improves. You get better and better because, and sometimes you no longer get sick because you understand and your body gets it and goes, oh, that's what it is. I don't need to do that any longer.
Yeah. And then you wouldn't need to watch the TV and listen to twats like Chris Whitty. You don't even know what they're talking about.
No, exactly. No. So
if you're watching Chris, you're a twat.
Yes.
A lying twat, come to that as well.
Yeah, and that goes
and a murderer.
That goes for
and a thief, allegedly.
Exactly, yes. And that goes to the doctor on ITV as well.
Oh, Hillary.
Hillary, what's his name?
Another lying twat.
What a moron. So
anyway, cool. That was a little bit aggressive, wasn't it?
So
I just want to say, Samantha. Hello, Sam. Gorgeous. Haven't heard from you. Where have you been?
Hey, Sam.
Very interesting. Thank you. No worries. Hopefully, I'll hear from you soon. Heather, we love you too. I love you, Heather. And you go to bed, darling. This was tomorrow. And Days, of course, he's having a right old type. My ex-partner is found be lying. My lower back hurts. Do not twist. Teachers teach students swivel chairs are best. Crazy. We have so much contradicting information.
No, swivel chairs are the worst thing in the world. I see people do it all the time. They swivel on their chair, but they leave their legs behind. It's not the chair that's the problem. It's if you swivel with your upper body
and leave your legs
leave your legs behind. So your legs are pointing one way and your upper body's pointing the other way. That's the problem with a swivel chair. And that is what people do all the time. You know, some people have desks that are like this, sort of, and they've got different things at different parts, and they'll swivel from side to side, getting different things. Or they'll actually sit twisted in their chair and they'll sit like it. Upper body is looking at the computer, and their lower body is twisted over here, and they wonder why they get pain because you're just holding your muscles tight all the time.
Yeah.
So avoid that, and those tables that go up and down in offices, that's all nonsense. It's not going to do anything for you.
Great. Good. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you done with that?
Yeah, that's
so. Okay, so I hope we've answered all of your questions regarding back pain and what causes it, and actually what is the real reasons of them.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. So very quick, I had a guy come and see me recently. He had back pain down his left side, going down his glutes into his hips, and he's in his 50s, nearly 60. And he's seen me before for something else, problem before, and he was thinking he was getting old. And he kept, I'm getting old, I'm getting stiff, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And do you know how long it took me to fix it? One session. I showed him how he was moving incorrectly. I worked the muscles. He changed his movement. Saw him the other day. He was like a young man again. He said, my movement's back again.
And therein lies the problem of everything.
Yeah.
Stop making up shit and believing the shit you make up.
But
it's the biggest problem in the world right now. You're probably making stuff up about me and John watching us. You're probably making stuff up
I'll make up stuff about
You're making stuff up about people who ain't wearing masks. You're making stuff up when you watch the TV. You're just consistently making up shit and believing it. Stop it. It's actually not healthy. It's a really bad mental health problem. You really need to stop it. You're causing yourself pain. You're causing yourself other people pain and suffering because you'll make something up and then say to somebody they're doing it and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? So just stop making up shit and using excuse, I'm too old.
Yeah. So age, another myth. It's not your age. Pain is never your age.
You know?
I've seen 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 8-year-olds with the same problem. It's not your age. That is a doctor belief. That's nonsense. All it does is keep you in pain.
Yeah.
But after one session, this guy was literally bouncing. He thought his life was over. I was like, oh my God, really?
I know. It's like, when I used to go into being in the spiritual movement a little bit, people saying, oh, well, your anxiety, you chose that. It was your... No, you didn't choose it.
That. No.
It isn't a disease. It's a lost conflict. Get rid of the lost conflict. Depression goes. Simple as that. Right? You didn't choose it. It wasn't your path. You can't just let go and move on. In most cases, you're not on a journey. No. And I hear so much nonsense. So just stop making up shit and believing the shit you make up, and especially watching the news because it ain't real.
And here's the way to know if what you're believing or thinking isn't working. If it's not solving the problem, it's not working. You've made it up. So whatever you're blaming, whatever therapist you're seeing, if it's not solving the problem, it ain't the answer. Now, sometimes it takes a bit of time to solve the problem when we're doing this. It doesn't always a quick fix.
Yep.
I've seen a lady recently, lots of trauma, lots of problems, very stuck, taking time. Steve's taken time.
I've had a few people who work with me for a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Because it takes. I've got a few people who work for a couple of years because they're very traumatized. They want to heal lots of things.
Yes.
But they get better, so they see the improvements. They keep going.
Keep doing it.
They're not doing it because they're not seeing improvements. So the point is, whatever you've made up, if what you believe in your head is causing a problem and correcting that solves the problem, you are correct. Congratulations. If it's not and you're still suffering, skip it. Go and see an expert. Give me and Steve a call. See someone who can tell you what the cause is and resolve it for you. Because if you're just suffering, you haven't found the cause. You haven't found the problem.
And it's it must be when I got the bags out the boot. It's all that stuff. Stop making stuff up. Chewing the wall. Okay, cool. Right. So that's the end of that. So as I said earlier on, in the beginning of the podcast,
I forgot about this.
Unfortunately, Jonathan failed in winning this super, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the Healing the Mind pen and keyring, which priceless commodity. But I felt so guilty that you didn't win it, and I couldn't give it to you. So I'm going to give you a second opportunity to win that.
Thank you.
All right?
That's brilliant.
So it's another 10 questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone else who's watching, you can join in the fun as well. It's a multiple choice, and it's true and false, and you can test your own general knowledge. This is just some really random stuff.
My general knowledge is shit. I know specific knowledge.
No excuse.
Okay.
You're making excuses now.
I'm making something up.
So anyway, I'm giving you the answer. You've just got to guess which one it is. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to start. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you want to grab yourself a pen and if you actually win, I might and write in, send a postcard. Now write in, let me know, and I'll send you a pen and a keyring.
Be careful with that, because I know a few people do that. They'll write in and want a pen and a keyring.
Man, then my company's everywhere.
Right. Okay.
It's a great market employee.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right.
We're
going to start off with number one.
Well, that's good.
Best place to
start at number one.
At the very beginning.
Always
very good. Great. So, number one. In 2009, a world record of $1.2 million was set for an auction. But what was being auctioned? Was it a gramophone record? Was it a trombone? Or was it a cow?
A gramophone record
is the wrong answer.
It was probably a cow.
It was a cow,
and
it was a cow named Missy, and it was sold it was a Canadian in Canada. It was in Canada, and it was sold for breeding purposes, and it was described as a genetic gold mine.
I was going to say a cow, but then in my brain I was like, anyone who pays 2.1 million for a cow,
or even 1.2 million,
shot.
Yeah.
But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, yes. So someone bought a cow for £1.2 million in Canada.
Okay, all right.
In 2009. So you didn't get that one. Not
for that.
Okay, here's a good one for you. Here's one more tip. So marmalade.
Yeah.
Right, marmalade was originally made by which fruit? Was it oranges, grapes, or quinces?
Quinces
is the right answer.
There you go.
Do you know why though?
No, I ain't got a clue.
So marmalade comes from the Portuguese word for quince, right, which is marmelo.
Oh, okay, right.
So that's how we get marmalade from the Portuguese.
So we don't have quinces, marmalade.
And marmelo is the Portuguese for quince.
Oh, okay.
Right. Right. So you get one point there. Well done.
I'm that much closer to keyring.
Here we go. Well,
this is why I've never been on the chase, because I can't do multiple choice. Or
well,
carry on.
We are doing multiple choice. What are you talking about?
No, but general knowledge. That's what I mean. Karen, continue.
So you had 2 questions. You got one right.
Magnus,
out of 2, and you're saying you can't do it.
Go on, carry on.
Right. The painkiller morphine.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Is named after which Greek god? The god of what? Is it the god of clouds, the god of dreams, or the god of medicine?
God of dreams.
Is the right answer.
There you go.
Do you know why though?
Yeah, because it sends you into a fucking dream state and you just die. That's why.
Well, it's actually a little bit more.
Oh, is it a bit more interesting?
It's a bit more interesting.
Okay, all right, okay.
So morphine, Morpheus was the son of Hypnos.
Really? I thought Morpheus was Neo's person in the Matrix.
Well, if you think about it, Morpheus was the son of Hypnos and he was the god of sleep.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, you think about being in the Matrix and you're asleep. So that's been Morpheus.
Yeah.
But he had the ability to appear in a human form, and he was also accompanied by a guy called Honoroy, who was the one that created the dreams. Right. So the morphine came from Morpheus.
Okay.
All right. I'll give you that one. So that's 2 now. All getting closer.
2 out of 3, blimey.
Right. So what physical feature? Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, what physical feature is known by the term diastema or diastema? Is it having dimples?
Yes.
Being flat-footed, or having a gap between your teeth?
Having a gap between your teeth.
It's the right answer. There you go. See? So I'm suffering for that. I've got to get in there.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got diastema.
You got diastema. Okay.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good. Am I near there?
You're right.
Am I winning?
You're halfway there.
Wow, buddy. Yeah.
Right. So
I'm not. This is the 5th question, isn't it?
yeah, it's 5th question.
5th question.
So you've had 4.
Yeah.
You got
5th
3
question.
right.
Yeah. 5th question.
Right. True or false?
Yeah.
Okay. Crows fly in a straight line.
False.
Is the right answer.
Yeah.
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 The phrase "as the crow flies" has been around for 200 years, but it's not based on their behaviours.
Okay.
All right.
Is it not?
So,
okay.
Yeah, no, there you go. It's 4.
Okay. Well, I'm doing so good. I'm doing much better than last time.
You're doing much better than last week. And you're getting that much closer. You're getting that much closer now to the pen and key ring. You're doing fantastic. I can hear the tension in the audience.
Yeah.
Right. So here we go again.
That's just gas.
Yeah, it's just gas.
Yes.
Right. So what does the word white mean in the name of the island, the Isle of Wight? Does it mean island, love, or human?
Human.
Is the right answer. Cool, you're on fire. I reckon a little cheeky look.
I can't see. I've got my glasses on.
Oh, that's right. So do you know why though?
No.
So white is the Middle English name for human being.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So back in the day, Middle English, the word white meant human being.
Okay.
And it's also the same as the Isle of Man. You think about it.
Okay.
The Isle of Wight was the Isle of Humans.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Isle of Man.
Right.
So both named after the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Logical. Got it?
Yeah. Logic. Yeah, I got it. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Struggling there, thinking I might have to explain that.
No, you're doing good.
Great. Awesome. So, blimey, you're on fire, mate.
Now, why don't you put me out?
Yeah, we'll do. Okay, so
explains why I'm quite warm.
Here's something quite interesting. So, what did the Romans use burnt deer antlers for? Right? Would they use it as an aphrodisiac? Did they use it for fortune telling? Or did they use it for toothpaste?
Aphrodisiac.
Is the wrong answer.
Is it not?
No, it's not. No.
Oh, no, I was thinking something else. No, okay.
You think of tiger nuts or something?
Yeah, no, I was thinking, okay.
Monkey's tentacles.
Yeah, no, I was thinking something else. No,
okay, cool. Well, it's actually toothpaste, and it was a recipe. The recipe was used by Messalina, who was the wife of Emperor Claudius, and she'd mix it with sal ammoniac. Do you know what that is? No. It's a really naturally occurring mineral composed of aluminium chloride.
Okay.
And also a type of gum called chian mastic. Okay. Which is the gum from an evergreen tree. Okay, cool. And I mix it all together and I use that as toothpaste.
Ah, okay.
All right. So
yeah, very good. Okay,
one to me.
I'm not going to get my key ring. Oh, no.
I don't know. You only need one.
Do I need one?
You need one. You've got 3 more. You need 1 more. So 6 out of 10.
Might do. Might make it. You never know.
Okay. So
I'm just happy I'm doing better than last time, to be honest. I'm just happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
It's not showing much.
No, it's no.
You're not really ecstatic.
This is me happy. This is how I look happy. Yeah, I say, yeah. I'm HOPPY.
Yeah. Great. So true or false?
Yeah. Go on.
If you swallow chewing gum,
oh god, yeah,
it can remain in your system for up to 7 years.
True.
Is the wrong answer. It's false.
Is it?
Even though your stomach can't digest chewing gum, it will just go through the system straight away. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's sweet corn I'm thinking of then.
How can you get chewing gum and sweet corn?
I don't know. I know there's so many stages in your system.
We don't go fishing.
No, I don't.
Do you know what I mean? Never have a nightmare. I've been here 3 days. I haven't caught a thing. What are you using? Chewing gum. Yeah. No, you remember using corn, mate. Oh, right. That's probably why then.
That's right. Yeah.
I've got all this yellow stuff stuck in my teeth.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Got 3 4 tins of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Go on then. 2 more.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Right. So, what is the most? So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're getting your tallies and keeping the count. So, number 9. What is the most commonly performed surgery in the USA? Is it circumcision, breast enlargements, or appendix removal?
Breast enlargements.
Is the wrong answer.
Oh, for God's sakes.
might have to run over to the next time. Getting down to the last
please
question.
don't. Yes.
So, it's circumcision.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's between 60 and 70% of all American boys when they're born get circumcised.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Oh, well, there you go.
You all right?
Okay.
I was going to say you're nearly there by the skin of your
No.
We won't go there.
No, don't go there. No. Oh, give me nightmares.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Finally,
the final one.
Finally,
I'm going to lose.
If he gets this right, he gets the amazing pen and key
I'm
rings.
so excited. I'm on the edge of my seat,
So am
which
I.
is a poor movement, really, to be honest. So I better stop doing it. Give me back pain. So I'll sit upright and move back further on my seat.
Do you want a book to put on your head?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah.
Great. Okay, finally.
I have a basket of fruit on my head.
Yeah, basket of fruit.
Yeah, could look like Carmen Miranda.
You could though.
Yeah.
Great. Right. So finally, number 10.
Number
Final
10.
question. When did the first elephant arrive in England? What year? Was it 1254, 1554, or 1854?
I'm going to plump for 1554.
Aha! You're wrong again, mate. It was 1254.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I'm so gutted.
Okay,
You mean I'm not going to get the pen?
You're not going to get the pen or
Damn
the key
it.
ring. It's one away.
Damn it.
So, yeah, it was 1254.
Damn it.
1254. It was a gift to King Henry from the Henry III,
Okay.
from Louis IX. And it actually, where it lived?
No.
It resided in the Tower of London.
Okay.
And do you know what it lived with? You're going to laugh at this.
No.
So it lived in the Tower of London with a leopard and a polar bear.
A polar bear in the Tower of London?
Yeah, 1254. But you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know
There you
that.
go, ladies and gentlemen. That is now the end of that amazingly well-composed, brilliant quiz.
Yeah.
And it is good because obviously for the second week running now, we've got a rollover.
We got rollover.
So 2 pens and 2 key rings next week or next time. No, but anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that. And there were some bits of trivia there and some knowledge acquired over the years. Testing you.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Do you feel walked over now? Or do you feel, has it gone against your core values?
No.
Well, I would say what we're sitting on that chair in.
It's more of a lost conflict because I've lost the pen.
You never had it to lose.
No, but I've lost.
I'd have had the lost conflict if I had to give it to you.
No, I've lost the potential of having the pen, so
Yes.
I feel depressed.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about
So I'm
that.
going to go home miserable now.
Yeah, poor you. It
me.
always happens to me. Life's so
I'm
unfair.
going to go home and say to Emma, I can't believe it. It's just gutted. He didn't give it to me again. He asked me all the wrong questions. That bastard.
No, I didn't ask the wrong questions. You gave me the wrong answers. Let's get clear on that. The questions weren't wrong. The answers were. See,
I gave you
know what
the
you
right
say,
answers, but not necessarily to those questions.
Yeah, but
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Oh, thanks. Cheers.
Yeah.
You basically said earlier on about blaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Am I blaming?
Yeah. Maybe we should do a podcast on hypocrisy next time. And
You think?
Yeah, and let's see how that one goes.
Okay, all right then. That's our next podcast.
That's on hypocrisy. How that can affect relationships.
Yes. Yeah. And that will be our last podcast, as ours is effectively over.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway. Right.
Okay. Well.
Is that it?
Well,
Are we done? Is that for the questions?
It is for the questions.
Is there anything else you want to add before we let the ladies and gentlemen go?
No, not really.
They probably want to go for their tea.
I probably do. Yeah. No, I don't think so. Is there anything?
No, that's good. I've covered everything. If you do have back pain or you have any kind of pain, then give me a shout, and I will help you fix it.
Yeah, he will. He's worked wonders with me, and I'm back in the gym, so great. And I don't have any other pains there as well. Normally, I'd always have a little nagging pain there. So that was all the emotional stuff that was being held there.
Yeah, exactly.
So but now I've switched that off. It's gone. I don't have anything really. It's great.
Good.
Okay, so we'll round that up then. So I want to just say thank you to all the ladies and gentlemen that watched tonight. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it enjoyable. I hope you didn't find us too annoying. And I hope you did really well in the quiz. And if you did,
lovable. What are you saying?
If you did, let me know. And next time I see you or tell me, I'll send you a pen and a key ring. And well done if you'd got more than 6 right or 6 or more.
I'd love it if 1,000 people just messaged you and went, I've got them all right, send me a key ring. You have to send 1,000 out. That would be hysterical. That would be brilliant.
I know. That'll go back to, and then I probably wouldn't send them, and we'll have to talk about it on the next podcast about hypocrisy.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I'd said so.
They'll all be commenting going, Steve's a hypocrite. He says he's going to send me a pen and a key ring, and I've got nothing.
And you know what I'll do is I'll blame you.
Yeah, blame me, yeah.
So anyway, thanks for watching. So if you like I said, if you do want help from John, contact him on the dtosystem.com. And if you want help with depression, anxiety, if you're suffering from PTSD or been diagnosed with it, if you've had past traumas, pain, suffering, things, events, relationship breakups, stuff you can't move on, limiting beliefs, reasons why you can't get on in life, have all of this negative self-talk, I've been saying you can't have anything, be anything, or do anything. That's all because we've got stuff stored in there, and all of that can be removed. You can reach out to me on healingthemind.co.uk, and again, the same thing with John. John does exactly the same with me as me, and that's with me, with you, okay. And that's the dtosystem.com. So other than that, I think we're going to wrap up for tonight. Again, thanks everybody for watching. It's been a pleasure to deliver this information to you as per always. We'll be back in a fortnight, and you're not going away this time?
No.
Great. So we will be back here. We will be back in a fortnight with a new episode. We don't know what it will be. Keep an eye out on my Facebook feed, and I'll let you know in advance. But other than that, we will see you next time on the Inside Out Effect podcast. I've been your host, Stephen Jakes. Jonathan?
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend and a great couple of weeks. I'll see you soon.
And we'll see you soon. Ciao for now. Bye.